Guys, we are back. Well, what can we say about the last video, Harry?
A lot of technical issues. We wanted to have more information on there that Michelle could have shared. It came to our understanding that she had really not gotten a really good grasp of some of the things that we were trying to explain to her. But where everything kind of went wrong was when her Wi-Fi or her internet connection was just buffering so badly that it would, whenever you would pose a question to her, it would be so delayed that we didn't know if she just didn't have an answer or needed to think about it or was relaying the answer and we just wouldn't get it till later.
Well, I know she did tell me that she was using a hotspot from her phone, so that probably didn't help. Why did we put the video up? Because we felt that the content was more important than the lousy quality. That said, I got to tell you, Michelle recorded it. Michelle emailed it across to me. I downloaded it. I played it. It was okay. I went to upload it to the channel, and it was gone from my computer. It said file missing completely, and I hadn't done anything. So I downloaded it again, and then uploaded it to the channel. So, and it took 16 hours to upload, guys. 16 hours. That's never ever happened before. So, you know, something wasn't right. But anyway,
I do appreciate the fact that we did have a lot of viewers that did comment and said that the content was at least able to be, taken in, and they were able to overlook the technicalities the issues that we were experiencing with the technical stuff. So
yeah, well, I did one with Logan from Decode Your Reality. We didn't use the camera, right? I'm traveling at the moment, guys, so I'm having to use a dongle for my internet connection, which means I've only got one spare USB port, so it's either this or the camera. And we decided to do it with no camera. We just did audio, and he said it was terrible. So, and that was using the headset. So what the hell's going on? I got no idea. When I joined his room, he couldn't hear anything. We had to come out of his room and go into this Zoom meeting room in order to get the podcast done. But he wasn't happy with the quality, and I never even heard it. So so there you go, guys. We're not going to let anybody stop us from doing what we're doing. But if we get technical issues, then we get technical issues. It's as simple as that. So let's get into it, bro.
You want to talk about the VPN first?
Oh, yeah. I didn't mention that last time. Yeah, the VPN. This is what we use and what everybody should be using, especially now with all the the censorship and stuff going on. Links will be in the description below. This is the one that we use. It's $70 a year, and we get 30% discount, and so do you. So it's less than $1 a week, and you can use it on two devices at the same time. So you can put it on your laptop and your phone, or you can put it on your phone and your partner's phone, or whatever you want to do. So you actually get to use two devices, and your internet connection is just basically going through whichever country you choose to put it through. So at the moment, I'm going through Singapore, even though I'm in China. My internet connection is through Singapore. Right. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, Harry, of this week's presentation. We are talking about the big guy. Ain't nothing like we have been taught. We've talked about this in previous podcasts. We've talked about Lucifer. We've talked about Satan. But we've now got some more information that we want to share with you guys.
Again, one thing that we always have to remember is this world is an inversion. So when we're told one thing, we're really being told the opposite of what they want us to think. So when someone turns around and talks about Satan, the adversary, they're really talking about the bad guy is talking about the good guy who is going against him.
Well, yeah, the bad guy's talking about the bad guy's enemy. He's talking about his enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm starting with this because this is it's a hologram, of course, of a car. And, you know, we always talk about the car, or our body essentially being a car. It allows us to get around. How long do we live? 70 years, 80 years, 90 years? Well, I think the Bible says 70 years, doesn't it? Which is 70. So Satan has a short time. Okay, well, what does that mean? Harry talks about this realm being akin to an arcade. And this realm is basically one game in the arcade. Right, Harry?
Yeah. I kind of, I create the idea that Yahweh is the owner of the arcade. He is invited. Let's take Nigel. Nigel's walking by. He's invited into the arcade. Nigel is the god. Okay, he is the god of Nigel. Nigel then enters into the game in the arcade and creates an avatar, which is the dog Nigel. We've talked about the god and the dog. They are complete opposites, but they're connected by the long leash, right? So the dog Nigel is now the avatar. Nigel, the god, which is the higher self. We talk about the higher self. He will be the one helping the avatar to navigate through the game. The game, though, what Nigel didn't know when he walked into the arcade is it is a copy. It's a knockoff. It is not an authentic original game. There's something wrong with it. You don't know upon looking at it originally, but it is missing certain aspects that the Yahweh character does not want you to know.
If you haven't watched our copy and paste video, guys, I'll put a link to it below, because it's great that we're getting new subscribers, but quite often they only look at at the most recent stuff. I'll put a link to the copy and paste. Harry suggested we should have renamed it Copy, Paste and Delete, because we explain in great detail how the Old Testament actually tells us how part of the world this realm was destroyed and then rebuilt or recreated. So essentially the Genesis 1 creation story is a recreation, and we explain it in detail in that particular video. So I'll as I say, I'll link it below. So let's get back into this. So the arcade. We all know what an ark is, the Ark of the Covenant, followed by the letters ADE. And Harry and I were talking yesterday, we were talking about this, and it just came into my head, after-death experience. I don't know, just throwing it out there. No way of knowing. So we have the Ark of the Covenant. Everybody knows what the Ark of the Covenant is. And then we go into, you'll see how the Ark comes back into the story in a minute. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and you who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, because the devil has gone down to you. He is filled with fury because he knows that his time is short. Well, we have a short time, don't we?
Yeah, and when we're born, we fall out of our mother's womb. That's the earth, and we're coming out of the water, the amniotic fluid.
Yeah.
That's pretty much talking about our birth here on the world.
Yep. So then he's talking about 1,000 years. When 1,000 years are over, this just happens to be from the NIV rather than the KJV, but it's the same. Satan will be released from his prison. Well, what's his prison? We'll have a look at what his prison is in a minute. And we'll go out to deceive the nations in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, Sin and Gog. is a synagogue, and to gather them for battle. In number, they are like the sand on the seashore. Well, we know 1,000 years was added. I've been questioned on this. This is a, well, I'm not sure it's a painting or whatever it is, but you can see in the top left-hand corner, J92. And you can see on this is from a map, you can see the date clearly shows an I, 622, because we know that 1,000 years was added to the calendar in it's either 1592 or 1594, because the J appeared in the English language in one of those 2 years, and I kind of get them mixed up. So talking about 1,000 years here, and 1,000 years, it's actually 1,000 years and 11 days was added to the calendar. So here's a typical arcade that you don't see so many of them these days. So we're kind of suggesting that this realm that we're in is simply one of a game. It's been hijacked, copied, destroyed, recreated, and we are here. Why are we here, Harry?
Well, we're here we've returned willingly to help those who haven't realized that they're trapped.
Yeah, we seem to.
We want to go back in there so that we can help them reunite with their higher self, because they also walked into this arcade. They got trapped in the game. They have to finish all the levels to be able to be reunited with their higher self, because only until that higher self gets out of the arcade can they all leave. And what's going to happen until that higher self leaves is that higher self has to keep paying with his money to the arcade owner. That is our lives, our battery lives, which are the avatars, are paying by regenerating. The life ends, we die, we're reborn, and then the system keeps on going. And he, Yahweh, will keep us in that prison until we can ascend out of it.
And we were talking the other day, Harry, every sort of 100 years or so, there seems to be some kind of quote unquote reset. And we live less than 100 years. So each time we choose to come back into the game is harder for our higher self to navigate us through. It makes it hard. Each time we come back, it's harder to get out. It's harder to get out. It's harder to get out. Now, back to the Ark. In the video we did called What Have They Done and What Are They Doing? We talk a lot about arches. This is the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, being magnets, essentially, horseshoe magnets, all connected to the energy, magnetism, water, electricity. And I came across this. I've never seen this picture before, and it blew me away. This is the Arc de Triomphe. You can see all the cars going round and round and round. Reminds me of the cube in Mecca, you know. But look at the roads, guys. Look at the shape of the buildings. You see how the buildings are all tapered towards the, you know, they're like sort of, not triangles, but you can see like pyramids.
Like sun rays.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely fascinating. Absolutely.
It's like sun rays.
But, you know, nobody can use a logical mind and say that the Arc de Triomphe was built for just for art. This thing was a working machine, and probably still is a working machine in the original realm, but of course everything gets copied or got copied over into this realm. And you know, I still think, Harry, that we have a choice. We can either incarnate into the original realm and live to be 700, or we can come down here as Satan, because we would be seen as Satan if we're coming into this realm in order to help or to rescue souls that are trapped here that don't even know that they come from the original realm. then as far as this copied realm is concerned, we would be Satan, because Satan just means adversary or enemy.
Yeah.
So we're just using logic.
Yeah, we would be infringing on. Infringing on the. We would be infringing upon the income of this Yahweh entity.
Yeah.
So we would definitely be the enemy.
Now, when we go back to these kind of things, I mean, we've mentioned before, for those guys listening to us in the UK, or especially the UK, next time you're out and about around a graveyard, an old cemetery, go and see what the oldest gravestone you can find. And I guarantee you, you will not find anything, unless you're very, very lucky, you will not find any gravestone dated prior to what we know as 1600. Right? So all this biblical stuff, this 2,000 years nonsense, and it's all rubbish. We are going back 500 years. Michelle Gibson agrees with us on that, and so do many other people, that this hijack happened somewhere around 500 years ago. And people were only buried once religion was created, and all the cathedrals or cathedrals were converted and changed into religious buildings or houses of worship, that the three main religions were created. And if you looked at our previous videos, you know that we've talked about the 33, we've talked about the 3 groups of 11 gods that basically, well, you know, they're not really gods, not in the true sense, but these 3 groups of 11 entities that essentially are responsible for copying, pasting, and doing the hijack, essentially, that they've done. And each one of those 3 groups created a religion, the 3 main religions. But Harry, I mean, this is your drawing, bro, and it's very, very, it's beautiful. But each of the 3 main religions acknowledge that their roots are in this guy called Abraham, yeah? Which is why they're known as the Abrahamic religions.
Yep.
Talk us through your drawing, bro.
Yeah, and then, you know, like we talked, well, we've talked about the 3 religions, 3 groups of 11, that will create our 33. We see the different realms, like we have the United States, the Britain, and Rome. They all have a part in running this realm. One is going to be the religion, the other is going to be the military, and the other is going to be the banking. All these 3 systems work together to create this cycle of life where the moon and the sun usher in the humanity to just become that battery source of power to keep this thing going.
Well, you've got this notion of the Holy Trinity, right? You've got 3 religions. Is that the Holy Trinity? Because, I mean, each religion would be holy in its own right. So potentially you've got a connection there. You've got a connection between the sun, the moon, and what we know as the earth, the Holy Trinity. You've got the 3 main elements that run or basically ran what we know as the Tartarian realm, which is electricity, water, and magnetism. You know, and as you suggested, Harry, the word curse is an anagram of cure. And there's an old saying that we had in the in English, which is what kills you cures you, right? You know, one man's meat is another man's poison, kind of thing. So it's interesting that the word curse is an anagram of cures. So
well, think about it. In religion, we're told that Christ is going to come back and save us.
Yeah.
Right? If you go back to the one video, I mean the picture with the Trinity on it, if a curse is going to cure you, isn't it? It's told to us that if you accept Christ in your life, you'll have eternal life, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that they conveniently forget to tell you what type of eternal life you're going to have. Do you recall? You're going to have an eternal life in your skin.
Yeah.
They're guaranteeing you a material eternal life.
Yeah.
That means they're going to trap you. That curse is what's going to cure you. So let's say you have an ailment in your body. You die to come back with maybe a different, maybe not an ailment, but maybe something else. But see, this is where, like you said, the curse cures.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. But the other thing that that I wanted to show you is that Bible passage. We've shown you in previous podcasts, guys. You go into a Bible verse and you click this button here. It says interlin, right? So it takes you into the original Greek, and Harry can read Greek. You've got the pronunciation, and you have a number, and the number is how many times this Greek word, or in the Old Testament Hebrew, how many times it appears in the text. So it says here, and when shall have been completed 1,000 years, will be released Satan. Well, let's see what be released means. Just hover over the word, the number, Satan, right? It means, and if you click on the number, we've shown you this before. This is for the benefit of the new guys. It means the adversary, i.e. the devil. If we scroll down, it means the adversary. And an adversary is an enemy, okay? Just known as the devil. But don't forget, if you read devil backwards, it spells lived. So if we go back to that text, and I want to go to the next one. I want to find the one where we were talking about the prison, Harry.
Yeah.
I think it must have been the next one. Sorry about this, guys. I should have had this ready. Okay, so he's talking about they marched up over the breadth of the earth and encircled the camp. Well, what's a camp? Battleground, encampment, or barracks. So again, it's connected to war. Saints. Who are saints? Well, if you look at our podcast called Meet the Controllers, I think we put it up on BitChute. There is a link. There's a bumper on here with the link. So it means hagios, right? What does hagios mean, Harry? Likeness or nature with the Lord, different from the world. The fundamental meaning is hagios. Thus, a temple in the first century was hagios, holy, because different from other buildings. Well, here they're talking about people. Well, who would those people be? They are of or for the Lord, which means they are going to be Genesis 1:27 creation. Came down fire out of heaven. Well, where's heaven? By implication, happiness, power. How do you feel when you're very, very happy? You feel like you're in heaven.
You're in heaven.
Yeah. I want to find this be released. Released from where? That's the one I wanted to look at.
Out of Philaki. It's the previous.
Yeah, he said to be released from his prison, unbind. So something no longer holds together, figuratively. Release was that has been held back, like Christ releasing the 7 seals. So release from a prison, could you refer to this realm as being a prison? Could you refer to your body, your avatar, as being a prison? When we die, are we released from our quote unquote prison?
If you look at the last second to the last word in this verse, it's called philaki.
That's the one I was looking for. Prison. Thank you. Okay, so we click on the number. Sorry, my internet's a bit slow. Oh, come on. Right, here we go. So we click on the word, and it means the gates of the prison. Oh no, I've gone to the wrong. Give me the wrong one. I need to click on the number, not the word. Okay, a guarding, guard, watch. When we scroll down, guard, imprisonment, imprisonments, prison, prisons, time of the night, watch. So could it be referring to our body, our avatar, our car being the prison? Harry, what do you think? I mean, you're fluent in Greek. I mean, phylake. I mean, what does that relate to?
Okay, it's the enclosure. It's what it's exactly what you said. I feel like it is in the reference of today. It would be what you would call jail or prison. That's what if you talk to someone on the street today, that's what it would be. But in a figurative language, what are some people's prisons? You know, sometimes it's maybe they're alcoholic, maybe they're addicted to pornography, maybe they have something that's keeping them trapped. A lot of people today are trapped by their mind because all they can think of is who's going to come to save them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, here on the right in the concordance it says you'll be thrown into prison, cast into prison, and into prison you will be cast. Put him into prison on account of.
Well, what else can you be cast into?
A lake of fire.
You can be cast into, or played, or you can be cast into a role to be played.
Yeah.
You're a cast member, like when you're in the theater.
Yeah.
So I believe what we're talking about here, and I'm sorry I used the word believe. I think what's happening is we're being put into these avatar bodies when we're playing the game, and we are trapped here until we can be reunited with our 40% higher self.
Well, again, I mean, people get quite annoyed, or some people get quite annoyed. Not many on our channel because they know where we're coming from. But when we talk about the return of the Christ, Jesus saves. You know, the Christ is going to come back and save you. Well, if you think about your previous life before you quote unquote, I hate to use this phrase, but before you quote unquote woke up, now you have the Christ consciousness to be able to understand that everything in this realm is a deception. Then you kind of can tie that in with the Jesus saves quote, the return of the Christ consciousness, the Jesus coming back to save you. It's only the consciousness. So when you went through your dark, when we all went through our dark night of the soul and woke up to the realization that everything here is not what we've been taught, that is Jesus coming back to save you in the Christian context. Okay, remember, guys, we showed you earlier the added 1,000 years, and there was no J. I'm pretty sure it was 1592. The 1,000 years was added in 1594 that the J was added to the alphabet. Where do we get this 1,000 years from? Well, if you don't know, go and do some research into Anatoly Fomenko, because he's proven it by using astrological the sky map, basically. So
astronomical events like Halley's Comet, other events that happen in cycles. He wrote down, he documented all the ones that he could see or were verified by other very solid evidence. And then all you do is from there extrapolate back. and know that historically, if Muhammad comes back 80 years, every 80 years, and someone recorded it as being, 200 years or 300 or 400 years back, something's not jiving.
Yeah. Well, this is the last picture in the slide, and it's going to tie in, but it's not tying in with this particular presentation so much as within the controllers and the copy and paste podcasts that we've done. I came across a video came across me yesterday, and I sent it to Harry, and Harry watched it, and Harry was just as blown away as I am. I'm going to put the link below. It's a recent video. It's talking about the male and female, and she's also talking about males and females that have surgery. We have maintained since we started doing podcasts that the Genesis 1:27 creation were hermaphrodites. They're both. And if you're both, but you are maybe a little bit dominant on one side, but you want to be on the stage as the other side, then it makes sense that you would have some surgery. But what this video, I'm not going to mention it, but what she actually proves that none of the people that we, the governments and presidents and so on and so forth, none of them are what we think they are. And she's got some pretty mind-blowing, hard-hitting evidence, hasn't she, Harry?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like I always say, mainstream media will always feed you a story and give you the inverted version. And if they're going to tell you that it's dark and it's light, it's the opposite. And in this case, when they're identifying to us who our presidents and our actors and our singers are, and our athletes for that matter, they are members of the opposite gender.
Once you see this, and once it all comes together for you, once you take into account what we present with regard to the copy and paste, the hijack, the one that we did on 6, on the Greek 6, is a very, very important video, especially when you look at the names of the people high up in the UK right now. You've got Boris Johnson, you have Matt Hancock, you have this police chief called Cressida Dick, Cressida Dick, and now you've got Helen Ball. It's mockery, guys. This is beyond anything that we've ever experienced in our lives. What we're seeing now as the veil is lifting is everything's a joke. There's a couple of good videos on Logan's channel called Decode Your Reality, and they're quite short. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but they're called God is a Comedian, and they are worth watching. Yeah. They are worth watching. We are living in a scripted black comedy.
Yeah, the one that I watched on the God is a Comedian is the one with the Archie Bunker. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
He breaks it down to the point where they are mocking us so badly that it's hilarious. If we wanted to join their group, we would be rolling in our seats listening to how they condemn. They build up the Bible and they make so much fun of it that it's just crazy to just watch that. He does a great job. He also does a really good job on the one where he compares Kobe to Lucifer.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I used to be a big time professional sports fan, which that stopped, I'd say over 5 years ago, because I just concluded that all this stuff is scripted. It's all false.
Yeah.
So, but he does this. He uses the prominent athlete Kobe because he admits we are all scripted. You, me, everyone, to a certain degree before we, like we said, get on that exit ramp.
Yep.
But once we're in the ramp and then we're stuck, playing by those rules. And the reason he points out someone prominent like Kobe to compare is because he's performed certain events that everyone knows in their mind. It's stamped right there. We remember it. It happened. And, us, we have more of a mundane type world that we live in. We don't have these type of events. But if you have a chance to see that one's amazing.
What I'll do, guys, I'll put a link to Logan's channel below rather than the any specific video. He's got over 200 videos on there. And if you're not familiar with this guy, you should be. He's absolutely mind-blowing with the work that he comes up with. But he's not quite... He told me, he sent me an email and he said he doesn't quite jive with the copy and paste idea, but he's not aware of the added 1,000 years. So that is a crucial link to putting his work together with ours, which is why I did that podcast with him. That the sound was crap. So we're going to get together again, hopefully first week in August. And hopefully you can join us this time, Harry. You were busy last time.
Yeah, and if you guys have a chance, definitely go show him some love. Sub to his channel. He's one of those channels that you just have to be sub to.
Yeah, and I'll put the link to the trans video underneath this as well. So go and have a look at that. That one's about an hour. That one's an hour. But you must, guys, you must watch it. Because again, words fail me.
The girl on that video, her name is Inanna, and she does a great job decoding what real women look like versus some of these. Well,
she goes the extra mile because she's in that video. She's actually wearing a bikini, right? And she actually points out the difference with it, with the female hip structure and the bones and so on and so forth, and the position of the belly button. So she's actually got the balls, figuratively speaking, to go on there with go on camera wearing a bikini and talk people through it, not just talk you through it, but show you. Really, really good. So kudos to her too. Harry, you're frozen on me. All right, guys, this is what happens. See you next time. Love ya.